time for the Morning Watch.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you are overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541 again, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live in the first watch today. Snapshots of news. Northeast St. Anne by-election. Kingston Keys to the city for Shelley and Fraser Price. Lighter, Jamaica Public Service Company bills, and the life and the death of heroes. Interesting topic there. And in the second watch, Golden Oldies, Senior Citizens Month. For our social media question, we asked, what are your thoughts on persons who risk their lives to save those they don't know? What are your thoughts on persons who risk their lives to save those they don't know? Share your responses in our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp, 876-9973-125, using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but first, as I quote.
All right, today's I quote says, the biggest criminals in this world are those who can make their crimes legal.
And again, Jacob, no author.
Well,
who is the author of this I quote? You know what? Good morning, Jacob. The first watch will be back after this break.
Love 101 invites you to listen to Encounter, presented by the Jamaica Association of Full Gospel Churches, Thursdays at 10 p.m. Every first Thursday, Jamaica House of Prayer with Pastor Harry Walcott. Every second Thursday, Rogis Ministries International with Reverend Dr. Elaine Richards, that's Women of God in Service. Third Thursday, Praise Deliverance Ministry, Senior Pastor Fitzroy Carr. Every fourth Thursday, Reverend Leonie Samuels from Richmond New Testament Church of God in St. Mary. And every fifth Thursday, the New United Bible Way Church of God with Reverend Dr. Jasmine Brown. That's Encounter, presented by the Jamaica Association of Full Gospel Churches, every Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
It is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and the Jamaica Cancer Society is reminding us that early detection saves lives. It is reported that in Jamaica, prostate cancer, there are too many cases, and one case is one too many. But with tests in place, you can stop prostate cancer right in its tracks. Women, talk with and encourage the men in your life. And men, dude, just do the test and no bother stress. Join Love 101 this Friday when we share the information, the reminders, the facts on prostate cancer. That's a special broadcast this Friday, September 13, 8:15 to 10 a.m. Prostate Cancer Awareness broadcast on the family station, Love 101.
Why take the risk? Are you ready for another exciting show Inside Alive, 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. this Throwback Thursday, September 11? Well, join me, yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One, for another time to recollect and reconnect. Stay tuned for the brain test segment as I at 1:45. Then for your blast will be at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 Inside Piece of the Past, we wrap up our traditional Jamaican proverb series. So join us, the man. Then at 3 p.m., join us as we bring you music overload. Music in a throwback style. All the summer will come alive 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. this Throwback Thursday, September 12 on the family station Love 101.
All right, we could do a roll call.
The Love Jockey is on duty every Saturday inside Youth Connection. Don't miss the hype. Don't miss the tunes. Don't miss the excitement with your boy, DJ Rebirth. Saturdays at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the family station, Love 101. At 3 p.m., your DJ runs the gospel rhythm. Hot, hot. Tune in at 4 p.m. for a time where we share a word to grow your mind. GYM, grow your mind. Jim, get it? Grow your mind. And at 4:30 p.m., we share with you how young people are giving all their time and fulfilling their purpose inside Ministry in Action. We get a taste of poetry and spoken word inside Poetry and Praise. And you get to send us a WhatsApp message and request your favorite gospel song inside Gospel Faves at 5. All this and more every Saturday at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. with your love jock, your boy, DJ Rebirth. It's all here on the family station, Love 101.
Youth Connection. Shuboti and them figured he provide everything and guide people we chat. Shuboti and them figured him alone make we appear when we did chat. Hey, hey. Shuboti.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the first watch and we're looking at the snapshots of news. We have as our guest this morning in this first watch to take a look at the snapshots of news, social commentator Kevin O'Brien Chang. Mr. O'Brien Chang, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Mr. O'Brien Chang. Well, first of all, taking a quick look at Northeast St. Anne by-election. Your thoughts?
Well, as a Jamaican, I am disappointed that we're spending $300,000, $30 million on a sham of an election, really, because the PNP didn't enter. The JLP entered, and we have two candidates who have zero chance of winning. And so we're spending $30 million for a facade of an election, you know? I believe we need some kind of system. I'm not against independent candidates or non-PNP and JLP candidates, but they must show they have done some work in the constituency previously. And that they're serious candidates and not just entering for the limelight. Maybe you could have like a criteria, like 500 signatures from each division or something like that, and a higher fee to, election nomination fee. Because we're spending $30 million for what? Yes, we have to honor our democracy, but the people who enter an election should show that they're serious about representational politics. These two other candidates than the JLP, we've never heard of them before. They showed no intention before. Election is called a pop-up to just get some limelight and get a name in the papers.
And Chase Neal, representing the United Independence Congress. You indicated, Mr. O'Brien Chang, that there might be other criteria needed to see if these candidates are serious. What if a criticism is leveled that there is a level of discrimination by imposing those sorts of criteria, sir?
What discrimination? Listen, the money is not limitless. Okay? The taxpayers' money, especially. Our taxpayers' money is supposed to be value for money. People work hard, they pay taxes, they must get value for taxes. With $30 million being spent here, there's no value because these other two candidates showed no interest before. There's no indication they were working. They just pop up for limelight when an election is called and have no chance of winning. How can that make sense of taxpayers or see their hardworking money going down the toilet on foolishness, on just egos of people who want to get their names in the media? As I said, did you hear any those people have any interest before that? I seriously am working hard in the constituency. I am want to represent the people. No, it just popped up out of nowhere, and it's costing us $30 million. Democracy must have proper guidelines to give value for money. You know, you can't need money, taxpayers' money can be squandered for nothing, and this is squandering for nothing. They said
Well, no,
a serious independent candidate must be taken seriously. But where's the indication that these people are serious?
not to belabor the point, but sometimes even with the two major political parties, they might, you know, make a decision to have someone run in a constituency, and that candidate might not have done that much work before in that constituency, even though they are well known in the country or relatively well known. So, what would you say about that? Because the independent candidate could make that kind of argument. Any thoughts, Mr. Brancher?
If you remember the PNP or JLP, you have a chance to win because that's Jamaica's history. So anybody enters the PNP or JLP, they must have certain seriousness. The PNP or JLP been around a long time. They don't put people in seats who are, that they think are useless. Okay, so there's some criteria there. But I'm saying the independent candidates, where is the indication that they are serious about representational politics? All I'm saying is, I am not against independent candidates. I'm only saying they must prove that they are serious. And the bars for proving you're serious are much too low right now from the taxpayers' money point of view. So I'm saying serious independent candidates, we will take seriously, but not just anybody popping up. I want to show him in the election for limelight. The point
Interesting.
is, you must take we must take democracy seriously.
Understood, sir. Never enough time on the morning watch. Another topic, sir. Another snapshot of news. Maybe on the more positive side, one could argue. The keys to the city of Kingston for Shellyan Fraser Price, who has represented Jamaica so many times on the international stage in terms of track. Mr. Brancher.
Well, Shellyan Fraser is my favorite living Jamaican. I am a huge fan of Shellyan Fraser, not only as an athlete, she is perhaps the greatest female sprinter of all time, but she represents Jamaica fantastically well. She is so articulate, natural, full of humor. When you see her being interviewed and all that, I don't think there's any athlete in the world gives better interviews than Shellyan Fraser. Very
Yes.
intelligent, very natural, and always making a lot of sense, and very kind-hearted when you see her. You saw that the Olympics gone by, that rugby girl who came and hugged her up, and then she went and supported her, Michaela or something. Greatness of spirit. So
Yes.
any honors they give Shellyan Fraser is fine with me. As I said, she is my favorite living Jamaican, and I'm fully in favor of any honors that the nation can give her, because nobody has ever represented Jamaica better than Shellyan Fraser on the international stage of track and of sports.
Yes, and you mentioned something about her being articulate, and you indicated you never use the word personality, but that could have been what you're including, just the way she
Yeah, man,
carries
her
herself.
vibrancy. Yeah, what I said, her vibrancy, her naturalness. She comes across as very natural when she speaks. Some people sound scripted, some people are not articulate. She has it all. full of
Yes.
personality, full of intelligence, full of articulateness.
Yes, yes. Well, congratulations her on her soon receiving the keys to the city of Kingston. Mr. Branchang, we'll have some more comments from you in terms of snapshots of the news on the other side of the break. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Time is now 7:15 a.m. You're listening to the Morning Watch.
Ready to experience 6 times more freshness in your clothes? Try Downy Scent Beads. Its fragrance is so amazing, you have to sniff it to believe it. Try Downy Scent Beads today. 6 times more freshness versus using detergent alone.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Remember, every dream where you have, remember everything where you plan. With J&M Bank, anything possible. With a little savings in your hand. Save so you plan. Build the house, buy the land. What goals and dreams like a plan. Save so you plan.
Living your best life and making memories is priceless. But saving little by little is what makes it affordable. Stop wishing you could. With your J&M Bank savings, you absolutely can. J&M Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the first watch, and the topic, very interesting topic, snapshots of news. And our guest is social commentator, Mr. Kevin O'Brien Chang. And just as a sort of recap, in the first half of the first watch, we looked at the St. Anne Northeast by-election and the Kingston keys, or the keys to the city of Kingston, for Shelley-Ann Fraser Price. We are now going to be looking at, in this second watch, lighter JPS bills and the life and death of heroes. That last topic with an interesting name, has an interesting coinage there. Mr. Brian Chang, lighter JPS bills. Many Jamaicans would have been shocked when post or immediately post Hurricane Beryl, it appeared as if they were being met with some very not so normal bills in terms of how high they were. And there was much hue and cry, and the OUR had to intervene. And there was much talk about why those bills were so high. Now we are being told that there will be lighter JPS bills. Mr. Branchard, please.
Well, clearly, the agreement that the government has with the JPS, signed about 10 years ago, whatever, I'm not sure when, is not a good one, because the JPS is clearly trying to game Jamaican, electricity payers. We are not getting the full story. We are, being manipulated. And it took a minister of government to get directly involved, and all of a sudden we see the bills have dropped by 1/3. So that agreement clearly was a poor one. I don't know if they had the interest of the Jamaican people at heart. Anyway, hopefully this is coming up next year or a few years, we can change it. But we have to give kudos to Darrell Vaz. No, Darrell Vaz is a man, a lot of people don't like Darrell Vaz. He can grate a lot of people the wrong way. He can be abrasive. But Darrell Vaz, they always say he gets things done. And he has shown it here again. The people are up in arms. The agreement is not the best, but he put moral suasion, pressure on the JPS. Seems that way from the outside anyway, because he's the one talking. I know we see a result. Maybe there are other factors at hand, but from the public's point of view, all we saw was these huge bills, everybody grumbling, OUR said they're helpless. Darrell Vaz entered and started talking and pressuring, and we see a bill reduction. So while there may be other aspects of the story, from the public's point of view, Mr. Vaz put pressure, work hard, whatever, and got a reduction in the JPS bills. And as I said, that is what Jamaicans want from politicians, I keep saying, from my observation, we don't care what they look like, man, woman, black, white, orange, green, gay, straight, whatever. If they get results, we like it, we vote for them. People vote for politicians with one main intention. Will they improve my quality of life and the quality of life of my family? And Mr. Vaz has, with this 32% JPS bill reduction, has certainly improved the lives of Jamaicans by paying less for JPS. At least this month, going forward, we don't know. But at least we have something concrete. We can say lower JPS bills this month. That's a good thing for everybody.
I don't mean to necessarily go here, Mr. Brian Chang, but among the criteria or the heads that you mentioned were gay, straight. I don't know if there's any politician in Jamaica who has ever, well, certainly not to my knowledge, who has ever said that they're gay or homosexual.
There's rumors all the time about this and that.
So I think that you're referring in that space. Maybe you hear something, but you're not.
Of course, rumors. That's what I'm saying. When you go to vote, listen, I'm talking about when you go to vote.
I see.
When the candidates up there and Jamaicans vote, my observation is a man or woman, is black or white, orange or green, they don't care. And you hear rumors this, rumors that, people don't care right. Because you hear a lot of rumors. I don't know what is true, what is not fact. You do hear rumors. When my estimation is, they have all these rumors what you want. If a man is or woman is working, all of it becomes irrelevant. Is a worker, he will represent me or she will represent me well. That's all I care about. So I need the gear straight I'm talking about. Is the rumors I'm talking about that people don't care if they're a worker.
I'll leave it alone, Mr. Branch. I just thought I'd pick up on that because it sounds like an interesting point that you made there, sir. In terms of the reason, well, let me go back a little bit. When persons saw that their bills were so high, I mean, wouldn't it have been good if the company, well, I'm not sure if they did or didn't, but so many people were so surprised at the higher bills that it begs the question, wouldn't it have been good if some advance notice had been made loudly and publicly before people saw these massive bills, especially after an event such as Hurricane Beryl? Mr. Brancher?
Well, of course it would have been, but clearly the agreement that the government signed with the JPS has far too much power. And even the OUR doesn't have any power to restrain them, because if you had a good system, you wouldn't have a government minister have to get personally involved and doing a whole lot of stuff. It should be just business as usual. So clearly the agreement is not a good one. And that's what I'm saying. What you say is totally correct, but they were able to do it within the bounds of the agreement signed.
Understood. And in terms of going forward, what would you like to see in terms of the JPS? Because something like this could happen again, you know.
Well, that's the point. If you had a proper agreement, they couldn't do it in the first place and they couldn't do it again. So it's going to take special watching by the Minister of Energy, Darrell Vaz. Apparently, OUR hand is very weak. So it's going to require dedicated attention by the minister to make sure that JPS doesn't step past the bounds of what is acceptable. I mean, JPS has to make a profit, you know. You have countries where the electricity people are so constrained that they stop investing and the whole thing collapses and you have blackouts regularly. Remember the days of load shedding? All that kind of stuff we used to have? Back in the past, we don't have it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have it anymore. So give JPS credit for that. But they're supposed to provide proper services at a reasonable price.
Well, you know, I'm not saying that I hold a brief for the JPS, but they will say that there was an increase there were issues with the exchange rate and the fuel charge. But what you're saying, notwithstanding...
Reasonable.
Okay.
Reasonable is the word. That we understand the external factors, hurricane and oil prices, all that. But from what it seems to me, anyway, that the increases seem to be above the reasonable level. If you listen to what the minister is saying and you look at the result now, and again, we don't know the details, but the appearance is that the increases seemed not reasonable after the hurricane. That's the appearance, and we shall see what happens. But as I said, we had a minister who got really involved and got results.
Well,
but it shouldn't have had to get a proper agreement. He should not have had to get involved. The agreement would have covered the loopholes apparently of reasonable prices or reasonable increases. And it's not as if oil prices have been spiking. We haven't seen any massive oil prices increases. If that had been the case, the public would have understood probably, you know?
You know, it is undoubted. We have all seen where Minister Vaz did in fact get involved. In fact, it was like a daily staple in terms of hearing him, indicate that what the JPS was doing was not to his satisfaction. Well, never enough time on the morning watch. Mr. Brian Chang, many Jamaicans, if not all Jamaicans, by now would have heard of the recent rains and 2 persons who were apparently being swept away in a gully in Kingston. And, Kingston has many gullies and most of them connect in some way, shape or form, at least some of them. And 1 person survived and another person, unfortunately, did not survive. And it's not just about the tragedy and the horrible situations that the persons who were suffering or the other person who died went through. 1 died and 1 survived, to be more specific. But the heroes, the persons who made efforts to go into the water, and obviously the persons who did that are quite seasoned at doing so. I mean, you can read stories in newspapers about the heroism with which they did it. Your comments, Mr. Brian Chang, because, I mean, apart from getting a medal, one wonders if there shouldn't be some kind of acknowledgement that persons like this should be, I don't want to use the word certified, but these are persons who are known to be rescuers, so to speak. They never necessarily went to any, institution to maybe learn it per se, but they are doing it. Mr. Brancha?
Yeah, of course, they should be recognized. Heroism, courage must always be respected and recognized. But I'm not sure all of them are seasoned. I heard one of them on the radio yesterday. He's just a guy in the community. Yes. Somebody called him and he was brave and jumped in the water to save the woman. Sometimes it's just the average person, but they respond with courage greater than most people have. And you have to respect that. Winston Churchill once said, courage is the virtue on which all others climb. And yes, we do normally at Heroes Awards and stuff. We do see these people get some kind of award, whether monetarily or what. But yeah, and it's good citizenry. It shows a good heart. If I risk my life, I heard a gentleman yesterday jump in and risk his life to save the lady. It shows goodness of heart. Christian principles, loving thy neighbor, the maximum is risking your life. So yes, our country must recognize people like this seriously. And I think we have a system where we normally see this that Heroes Daytime and all that. We see these people who have showed extraordinary courage and love of their fellow neighbor get some kind of recognition. Yes. I think we have a decent enough system where we do recognize the courage and the virtues of ordinary people who just because of their bravery and their love of others decide I'm going to risk my life to try and save this person. One of them got washed away. One of them that died, apparently that's what happened. Yeah. He was trying to save a lady and he got washed away. He died because of his courage. And certainly posthumous, he deserves something and his family deserves something for that. He risked his life to save somebody and he died doing what everybody would look at very admirable.
And some people would have probably just stayed on the sidelines and taking out their phones and
exactly this video exactly. So in this, you made a good point. This day and age, we need to give even greater rewards. Because we see often in Jamaica and abroad across the world, when something like this happens, people just want to video it, not get involved. Here's a man risking his life, pay the price, but you have to admire that kind of courage and love of humanity, and it must be rewarded. And I make a point that in this day and age, perhaps greater, we should look at what we give them and give greater things and reward their family. Anybody who dies trying to save another person really deserves something substantial. The family deserves that, and posthumously and a reward. And the ones who do it and survive, they deserve a lot too.
Mr. Brian Chang, only because of time, we could look at a couple of other stories, although we have exhausted the ones that we had planned to do this morning, but there are so many others we could look at. But alas, we are completely and totally out of time. I want to thank you, Mr. Brian Chang, for being with us in this first watch. Very interesting discussion, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I've had you. And listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Anything possible with a little savings in your hand.
The time by Jen Bank is
7:31.
Once upon a time, there's a girl named Kay. She loved to dance and play. One day at school, she got very ill, and Mom was left with an unbearable bill. It would be easier if Mom was prepared. With School Companion, 80% of the bill is cleared. Medical care for children is a must. For as low as $2,540 per month, make unbearable medical bills go away. Sign up for Surgical School Companion today. Conditions apply.
I feel follow Grace Sardine, better flavor. Grace Sardine with the chef and the beginner. Follow the pan with pepper, that are the winner. Shop on supermarkets, everybody sell it. Do all of them nice. Pass the back, me push a lit.
Pick up Grace Sardines with peppers, vegetable oil, water and olive oil with peppers.
Cook it up, pre-breakfast, lunch or dinner. Shake it out, spice it up, make it simmer. Grace Sardine, yeah, the better flavor. Quick and easy as you print it, ready.
Grace Sardines, follow the better flavor.
Tell your family and friend them abroad. A quick way to send credit back a yard. Tap your up with a click right here and ding.
Send on the credit with the ding or something.
A easy way to send gift card with the bills.
Ding or something.
In an instant, bigger gift.
Ding or something.
Skip the lock and be alliance with ding.
Ding or something.
I feel up the new link.
Skip the loan can be alliance on high fees with ding. Tell your family and friends overseas the easy way to send a credit or a gift card for just about everything. Oh, man, ding. You should go ding me for 30% off. Don't know the app.
So what you do?
Send it with ding.
It is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and the Jamaica Cancer Society is reminding us that early detection saves lives. It is reported that in Jamaica, prostate cancer, there are too many cases, and one case is one too many. But with tests in place, you can stop prostate cancer right in its tracks. Women, talk with and encourage the men in your life. And men, dude, just do the test and no bother stress. Join Love 101 this Friday when we share the information, the reminders, the facts on prostate cancer. That's a special broadcast this Friday, September 13, 8:15 to 10 a.m. Prostate Cancer Awareness broadcast on the family station, Love 101.
Why take the risk?
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's take a look now at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. We have here in the Gleaner, Nannyville on edge as alleged Don's brother gunned down in fractured community. That story by Andre Williams. We have in the Observer, the Jamaica Observer, 6 hurt in BK blast. BK meaning Burger King. 2 employees remain hospitalized following gas explosion in New Kingston. That story by Tomoy Ashman of the Observer. And we turn now to Loop Jamaica News. 3 candidates nominated for St. Ann Northeast by-election. And there's a picture here of Chase Neal of the United Independence Congress. The independent candidate is David Anderson. And there is Matthew Samuda representing the Jamaica Labour Party. There is no one representing the People's National Party in this by-election for reasons that many Jamaicans would know by now. Those and many other stories in our various news sources. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp question, which is, what are your thoughts on persons who risk their lives to save those they don't know? If you haven't done so yet, leave your responses in our Facebook or YouTube Love 1FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp your comments and voice notes to 876-9973-125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for another exciting show Inside Alive, 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. this Throwback Thursday, September 11? Well, join me, yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One, for another time to recollect and reconnect. Stay tuned for the brain test segment that starts at 1:45. Then for your blast will be at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside Piece of the Past, we wrap up our traditional Jamaican Proverbs series. So join us, the man. Then at 3 p.m., join us as we bring you music overload. Music in a throwback style. All the summer will come alive 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. this Throwback Thursday, September 12 on the family station Love 101.
Love 101 invites you to listen to Encounter, presented by the Jamaica Association of Full Gospel Churches, Thursdays at 10 p.m. Every first Thursday, Jamaica House of Prayer with Pastor Harry Walcott. Every second Thursday, Wotis Ministries International with Reverend Dr. Elaine Richards. That's Women of God in Service. Third Thursday, Praise Deliverance Ministry, Senior Pastor Fitzroy Carr. Every fourth Thursday, Reverend Leonie Samuels from Richmond New Testament Church of God in St. Mary. And every fifth Thursday, the New United Bible Way Church of God with Reverend Dr. Jasmine Brown. That's Encounter, presented by the Jamaica Association of Full Gospel Churches, every Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Love 101 invites you to listen to Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef.
God's blessing of salvation is not only to forgive you all of your sins here and now, but to keep you safe for all of eternity.
Dr. Michael Youssef.
God's blessings for your salvation will keep you protected, and it's going to keep you protected even from your own foolish decisions. He will keep you protected even if you are prone to wander away from Him. Will keep you protected from your ingratitude to His grace and blessing. He will keep you protected from being preoccupied with His blessings and ignoring Him. Even when you're focusing on the wrong things, His security for you is indisputable.
Want to learn more about this subject? Listen to Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef on this station.
That's Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef, Sunday to Thursday at 7:30 to 8 p.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's join Jakal for the responses to our social media question. What are your thoughts on persons who risk their lives to save those they don't know? Jakal.
All right, so we have some responses on our WhatsApp line. The first one comes to us from Faith, and Faith is from Washington Gardens. Faith says, let me just pull it up. Great. Faith says no one knows what the future holds and what help will be needed. So if it is possible to help, then help should be given. However, the situation should be carefully analyzed. In risky situations, prayers and common sense should prevail. However, at times it's just a spur of the moment reaction and hoping for the best. At the end of it all, it's just trusting God and doing the best that can be done. Cherry from Spanish Town says, without any thought at the time than to save. I believe it is more an act of kindness and compassion to help those in sometimes desperate situations.
Thank you, Jakal. And not to extend the discussion, but sometimes when you're rescuing someone, you have to be careful of what you are doing, because sometimes you might be trying to rescue someone and you could end up causing some amount of harm to the person. I've heard of that sort of thing anecdotally in terms of some road collisions. The person might be injured, and if you're not careful, you're trying to take the person up out of a vehicle and put them in a taxi to go to the hospital, or a vehicle to go to the hospital. You might end up causing some harm to their neck, their back. You don't know. But to the extent that people are willing to be heroes to save the lives of others, especially in situations where they are being washed away in heavy water, in a river or a gully, as the case may be, or in whatever circumstances, certainly their good intent should be lauded. Well, we move right into the second watch. There is a deep-rooted misconception that views senior citizens as merely indigent, sitting somewhere in a rocking chair, old and fragile, and almost sort of dismissing them. And whereas in some societies, elders are revered, is that always so in Jamaica? Do we really revere our elders? And some elders, you'd never believe it. Well, some are old and some may be in advanced years, but they don't necessarily look old. And some persons, unfortunately, especially if they're elderly and they may not be financially stable, if you're not careful, they'll be cast aside and treated as irrelevant, which raise the whole issue of financial preparedness for retirement. But that's another discussion, perhaps, all on its own. But maybe we'll have some time to look at that this morning too. We seem to forget that aging or becoming older is a must. From the day you're born, you start to get older. And truthfully, there's a lot of wisdom and experience that those who are older have to share. We're going to have a discussion this morning with Irene Walter, an active senior citizen and a member of the caring committee of the CCRP. And the CCRP is actually an abbreviation which stands for Caribbean Community of Retired Persons. Irene Walter, good morning. Are you with us, Irene Walter? Are we hearing her? Irene Walter? I don't think do we have her on? Irene Walter? Yes? Are you muted? I gather that you are on, Irene Walter, but for some reason, maybe we are not hearing you at the moment.
Hello, good morning.
Irene Walter is, as indicated by me a moment ago, she is an active senior citizen and a member of the caring committee of the CCRP. And the CCRP, as I indicated, is the abbreviation for the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons. I could go into a little bit about her life as I understand it, but I would rather.
I don't know what to respond.
Irene Walter.
Because I'm just not hearing you at all.
Well, I'm hearing you now. Are you hearing me now? Are you
You
hearing
are
now?
too low. I am an 88-year-old woman. Therefore, there are some issues with hearing. I hear normally anything else, but your voice is not coming over.
Well, I'm going to see what we can do to adjust the volume.
That's better.
Much better?
That's better.
Ah,
that
great.
is better.
Yes. We have made the adjustment so that we can hear each other much better.
Yes.
Irene Walter, great having you on. And before we get into the nuts and bolts of the topic per se, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about what? Me?
Yourself, yes.
No, okay. First of all, I'm a proud 88-and-a-half-year-old woman.
Yes.
And I consider that an achievement because I'm not necessarily from a family of long livers. My father died at 58 and my mother died at 70. So I think I've done very well.
Irene Walter, I'm going to ask to hold on a moment because we had a challenge getting you on and then hearing you. But guess what? We're upon a break already. So could you just hold that thought for a minute and we'll hear more from you after the break. Listeners, please stay with us. We're talking to Irene Walter, active senior citizen and a member of the caring committee of the CCRP. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Sardine for the chef and the beginner. Follow the one with pepper, that are the winner. Shop and supermarket, everybody
Great sardines, follow the better flavor.
The time is 7:46.
The report is out.
What report?
The Constitutional Reform Committee's report of recommendations.
Recommendations on what?
On how we move from a monarchy to a republic, of course.
So what's in it?
The creation of the Office of President and changes to our Parliament. Yes, man. It also includes a new qualification for membership in Parliament. I know you want to see that one.
Read the full report at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm.
We are on the road to republic.
A time with double up your savings. These are the fools that are in a waiting. To take the water dreams you've been chasing. Double up your savings. Double up.
Save so you can win in the Jan Bank Double Up Your Savings promotion. You could be one of 5 lucky quarterly winners to walk away with double the money you put in your savings account. Conditions apply.
Double up your savings.
Check our website and social media for details. Jan Bank will help you find a way. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Febreze. Imagine getting home after a long day and it smells so amazing that it makes you smile. Try Febreze Plugs, an air freshener that delivers continuous scent for up to 50 days when you plug it in low mode. Indulge in wonderful scents for weeks with Febreze. La, 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 la.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch, and we're having a very interesting discussion with Irene Walter. Irene Walter is an active senior citizen. She's a member of the Caring Committee of the CCRP. And the topic of this second watch is Golden Oldies, Senior Citizens Month. Irene Walter, just before the break, you had started to tell us about yourself. Please continue.
Well, when you live all this time, there are lots of things to say about yourself. But the thing that I'm probably the most proud of is the fact that I am a very active great-grandmother. And I still take an interest in the 9 great-grandchildren that I have. And I don't think they see me as old. They see me as an active participant in their lives. I also am very pleased that I am associated with that great institution, the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, which is a real forum for the aged. And Jean Lorchin had this great idea, and it works. We have now over several thousand members, and activities are arranged by CCRP to involve persons throughout the island. We have groups in each parish. But there are some issues surrounding old age that I'd like to mention, and where I think that we can get some help. For example, in aging, there's issues about mobility. And I do not think this society does enough to support old people in this regard.
Yes.
For example, the bus system. the bus routes are not central, not and not easily accessible. For me to get to a bus,
I hope we haven't lost you, Irene Walter. You said for me to get to a bus, and
it helps to isolate people because people can't leave their homes unless they are driving. Now, yes, I am driving, and therefore it doesn't affect me, but it just affects other persons. Another issue that I'd like to raise is one where people are outliving their pensions. When you have been retired for 25 years, the pension that you was set 25 years ago, with inflation, has been reduced. Therefore,
I hope we haven't lost Irene Walter. We are speaking to Irene Walter, active senior citizen, member of the caring committee of the CCRP. It seems as if we have lost connection with her. We're trying to get her back on the line. Whilst we wait to have her back on the line, I will indicate to listeners that there is an aging fair today, Thursday, September the 12th, 2000, from 9 a.m. Thursday, September 12th, 2024 today. Time 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Emancipation Park in New Kingston. A number of services will be there: birth certificate, senior citizens ID, pension services, banking services, PICA online passport renewals for adults only, and there'll be health screening, dental and optical, food prep demo and sampling, prizes and surprises. And we should be having there Daly Harris as well as Mr. Christopher Johnny Daly, both well-known hosts. So Irene Walter, I think we have you back with us now. Irene Walter?
Yes, I'm back with you.
Unfortunately, we lost you for a moment there, but you were outlining for us a number of issues. One of the last things I heard you indicating was people are outliving their pensions, and I think you...
That's right. That's right. And with inflation eating away at that resource, there's certainly more need for the society to respond. Healthcare is a very expensive item. And although many persons have some form of insurance, and CCRP has done something in that regard, the support is still minimal. And therefore, there are issues. Do you have enough money to buy a prescription medication or to eat a meal?
Yeah.
It comes down as basic as that.
Yeah.
So there are issues that I think the Ministry of Labor and Social Security should address in a much more positive way. It's very easy to say that you have the NH and the
NIS.
Not the NIS is helpful, but the medical support, the NHT. No, that's
NHF.
Yes.
National Health Fund.
The National Health Fund. Now, I'm going to give you one example. I'm on a blood thinner that costs $1,000 for one tablet for 1 day.
Wow.
And that is after you get a subsidy from the National Health Fund. So that should be made available free of cost to somebody who is 88 years old and who has made a contribution to the society.
Yes.
And those are some issues that are swept under the rug and are not publicly known, but those issues affect your daily life and affect the way you live and the way you can exist.
So
I think go on.
No, I thought you were finished in terms of what you were saying, but I
Yes.
began to hear you continue. So would you like to continue before I interject?
Yes. Well, I wanted to mention the fact that there are some issues that affect senior citizens that the or government ought to address in a more positive way. As I say, transportation.
Yes.
It is true that you get a subsidy on the bus ticket. Fine. But how do I get in the mile to get to that bus? Because the routes are and these large buses can't take the small routes, but probably there could be some subsidiary transportation services where coastal bus enter into communities so that people do not have to walk. It needs some innovative thinking to help the senior citizens, which is a growing population.
Yes.
People are living much longer.
Yes.
And therefore need greater support.
Understood.
That's the point I'd like to make.
Understood. Irene Walter, not that I'm getting into details of your life that you may or may not feel comfortable sharing with us, but someone listening might ask, well, how do you manage? How does Irene Walter manage? Yes.
Okay. Yes. And that's a very good question. First of all, I want to say that I was fortunate to have had a good career. I ended my working life as the head of the Caribbean Examinations Council, and that sounds great. So in those years, I made sure to put aside something, some funds, and therefore built up an investment portfolio, and that is what is a subsidy for the pension, which has been eroded. When I retired in 1998, the dollar equivalent of the US was 1 to 65. Do you know what it is now? 1 to 158. So the value of the pension has been eroded. Are you seeing the point?
Irene Walter, definitely, most
yes,
definitely.
All right. So, when I left my employment, I did not get health insurance to carry along with it. So that health insurance is part of my responsibilities, and I have the provision for it through CCRP, which has a policy. But the subsidy, when for example, the subsidy from this insurance company is $100,000 a year. That goes in 4 months. So that for the next 8 months, you have the full cost of your health cost.
Irene Walter.
Yes.
Well, finish what you're saying, and then I'm going to ask you maybe one final question. But finish what you're saying, madam.
Well, what I'm saying, for example, I would appreciate having a clinic close by so that you don't always have to go to your own private doctor. So there are some social issues that need to be addressed.
Understood. Irene Walter, what can senior citizens do generally for themselves so as not to depend on others, including depending on the government, including depending even on a fixed pension, which over time can be eroded by inflation? What are some of the lights at the end of the tunnel that you can see?
It seems to me that many, most of our social or citizens have a skill or knowledge that can be used in the society.
Yes.
We talk about the migration of many of our teachers, but teachers are sitting at home and could be incorporated to be teaching assistants, as you know, so that the society can help to extend the working life of persons who retire at age 60.
Understood.
For you to retire at age 60 and then live for the next 30 years on a pension.
That's a long time.
Yes, a long time.
Yes.
So that there are some issues that can be addressed by the society and by companies. Persons who have had successful careers in your company, bring them back to help to teach the younger ones the ropes.
And mentorship,
there are ways in which you could subsidize the income that the pensions that persons have by doing something like that.
Irene Walter, it was great speaking with you, and the only reason why we're ending the interview at this time or the discussion, the conversation, is because we are completely and totally out of time.
Out of time.
It was a pleasure having you.
I hope I have given some suggestions and for food for thought.
A lot. Thank you so much, Irene Walter. I really do appreciate what you have said. Everyone listening has enjoyed this discussion, I'm almost certain. Thank you so much for your time and for your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for being with us, listeners. Join us again tomorrow as we look at other topical and controversial issues. My humble apologies. Next week, Tuesday, as we look at other topical and controversial issues, visit the Love 101 FM YouTube channel and Facebook page, and now TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica for this and all other Love 101 FM programs. Listen to the Morning Watch on our Love 101 app and download it today and stay connected to the family station, Love 101 FM, the number one gospel station in Jamaica. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer Kathy Gale and to our guest, Join Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint. Next week, Tuesday, not tomorrow, next week, Tuesday, as we continue to look at the issues of the day. I am Stokeley Marshall, Henry Batch, Love in the Morning with Chicago.